So this masseter muscle, it's attached to the zygomatic bone and then to the mandible. This muscle is known as an elevator muscle. It elevates the mouth where it pulls it up while chewing. So it's fairly strong. And when you combine this muscle with your temporalis, you could potentially bite off your own finger. So the temporalis, as I just mentioned, is also an elevator muscle. It's a pretty big muscle, as you can see. It covers quite a bit of the side of the head, covering your temporal area and part of your parietal. This muscle is big but fairly thin. If you compare your temporalis muscle with, let's say, a lion's temporalis muscle is not going to be quite as big. It won't cover as much surface area as a human temporalis, but it's going to be a lot thicker. Okay, it can be anywhere from an inch or more thicker than a human. So, being that as it may, you you can imagine how much stronger, or at least you can understand as to why a lion's jaw, its bite is going to be a lot stronger than a human. But then you can also consider the fact that a lion is eating, chewing through bone and raw muscle. So, in any case, so when you combine your temporalis and your masseter muscle, those two are the main muscles in dealing with elevating the mouth, closing the mouth, or biting down. But the technical, more correct term to use is it's elevating the jaw or lifting it up to close the mouth. So while you're chewing your food, your tongue, as you know, is in motion, keeping the food in your mouth, and sometimes that food can also move outside to the outside of the mouth. So the muscle that keeps food in the chewing area is the buccinator. Okay, the buccinator, it keeps food in the chewing area. It's a muscle of mastication, and if ever you've bitten your cheek before, it's usually the fault of the buccinator muscle because, like I said, this muscle pushes food back into the mouth, and sometimes if you're chewing fast enough and maybe not very careful, you can actually bite down on that muscle. And of course, as you know, once you've bitten down on it once, it swells and it makes it a lot easier to bite down on it again. So that's your buccinator muscle. Now, the last muscle that I want to delve into are muscles that aren't in the text but are very important when it comes to mastication, and that is your medial and your lateral pterygoid muscles. Okay, so the lateral pterygoid actually has a superior head and an inferior head, and then you have the medial pterygoid muscles. These muscles, if you look carefully, okay, this muscle is attached to the mandible as well. Now, this muscle, uh, again, it elevates the mandible, but it also pulls the mandible forward. Okay, this is called protraction of the mandible. So it moves it up. So you might have heard of an underbite. Now, an underbite is actually a little bit more involved than just the pterygoid muscle. You have ligaments and bone structure that's applied to that. But you can pull or push your jaw forward using these internal skeletal muscles right here, the medial pterygoid and the lateral pterygoid. Okay, so that does it for these muscles of mastication in the skull. I hope you've enjoyed this video, and look on the site for more.